How you doing? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the pleasant and unpleasant of any big change. If you haven't been over to the platform yet, Habits V2, we've got a free preparation course for anyone who wants to start. It's part of our Habits V2 program, and we've sort of made it available to everyone for free since the beginning of the year, beginning of 2022. So it's over there, it's in the link down below. It'll just help you to get through those the first few days and months. It's more about trying to get you in the right mindset. So like I said, it's less than an hour. You can speed it up if you want to. It's less than eight or nine videos or something like that. So go on over there and have a look at that. Right, let's start walking. You know, the thing about change is that sometimes it's not pleasant. You know, going into any big change is not going to be pleasant to you. But change is constant. Change is constant in people's lives. And I think the trick is to try and manipulate things as much as you can so that you can grow. You know, it's tough to change at the end of the day. Look at this. This is why we moved here. We're sort of down that block of apartments just down there. Well, one of those blocks of apartments down there. So it's just a brilliant place to be. Yeah, like I said, it's taken us a long time to get here. You know, change is tough. You become a better person for it, I think, especially when you're directing the change. You know, there's a lot of change in life that's going to happen that is just it's you changing, or it's the life changing you, I should say. And that kind of change, I think, sometimes can take you into directions that you just don't want to go, bring you to places that you didn't want to go. You know what I mean? We all know. I know from my own personal experience how you know, when you allow something like alcohol or any drug like that to take you in its own direction, it will take you in some directions that you do want to go, but most of the directions that you don't want to go, it'll give you a lot of stuff that you don't want to do. You know, like I said, we've just come to Andorra. We've been making the planning for this for over 5 years now. Well, I think a lot more than 5 years, but seriously in the last 5 years. Like I said in one of the last videos, there's been a lot of happenings that have slowed us down in our progress to making the change happen. But you know, that's the way it is. You know, it took us a lot of planning in order to get this change happen. But it is, like I said, it's a change that was deliberate from the beginning. But you don't know what's going to happen when you're as you get into the change. You know, you don't know what's going to happen as you start moving into it and you get into the nitty-gritty of things. You know, there's so many things that are going to happen to you that you just don't know until you're there, until you're, you know, like when you stop drinking alcohol, until day one, until you go through day one, you won't notice what's going to happen, and you don't know what's going to happen on week one or month one. How are you going to be on month 2 or 3 or 4, 6 months down the line, a year down the line? You know, we'd done all of our preparation, all of our planning, everything that we needed to do, and then we got to a stage where we're starting to move. You know, we had 2 guys in 2 vans helping us to move, packed everything away the day before, got everything ready. That day we're moving, made the drive up here, got to the customs, and we were stopped. Where's your residency? Now the residency was there, we've made the residency, but we had to actually come up here and sign the forms to get the residency. So we had to go into just bullshit, you know, government bullshit, more of it. But up here in Andorra there's a little bit less of that, so I don't mind it. Anyway, right at the customs, and the man says, what's in the van's right furniture? Where did you buy it from? It's old stuff. Have you got any new stuff? Yeah, bits. Have you got receipts for it? If we'd have had this little card, then there would have been none of that. But that's just the way it is. We had to pay 10% of what we put down as our insurance value of the stuff. And when we were filling out the forms with your man, so the upshot was that we arrived at the border with all this stuff, no residency, and we had to pay a percentage. So the VAT here is 4.5%, and we had to pay that of the entire load. Now before we went, one of the guys, a friend of mine, said, "Oh, we have to fill out these forms just to be on the safe side. We're insuring you and stuff. What's the value of the content?" So I said, "Oh, well, what do you want us to put down?" You know, and when you're valuing your stuff, you always value it more than what you've got, because you know the insurance companies are going to reduce the values. So we'd written down 35,000, and the guy said, at the customs said, "Well, you've got to pay 4.5% of that," which would have worked out at what, 1,700 or something like that. And he started winking at us, and he said, "Are you sure that's a right calculation that you've got?" You know, gave us a little wink, and we said, "Oh, well, probably the value is closer to 10,000. He says, "Right, that's 10,000. So we had to pay 450 quid at the border, which we'll get back once we get the residency. And I got the residency now, so we put that through the account and everything's all right. But what we should have done was come up a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier, signed the forms, got the residency, and then once we'd crossed the border, there would have been no hassle, right? So we would have got everything sorted out. We didn't do that, but it would have cost us 450 quid just to do that, to drive up here, 700 miles here, staying here, and 700 miles back, blah, blah, blah. So we get the 450 quid back, but you don't know what's going to happen. The altitude here has been killing us, you know, for the past month. It's been hilarious. I didn't realise that it would, you know, but it's just taking the dogs out for a walk 3-4 times a day, and we're walking uphill, and we're not used to it. You know, for a while I haven't been out walking even because I've got a bit of a bad back, and yeah, that's the way of it. So little things like that you just don't notice are going to happen until they actually happen, and then, you know, it is what it is. You have to take the good with the bad. So, you know, it's the pleasant and the not so pleasant. You know, arriving at the border and being told after a 7-hour journey that you've got to pay taxes. It wasn't even that at the beginning. We just didn't know what was going to happen. So it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant for the guys because we didn't know how long we'd be at the border. We didn't know if we were going to be let across. So it was a relief to pay the 450 quid. So that's an unpleasant thing. You know, there's a lot of minute things that go into big change, any big change that you're going to make in your life. And that means that a lot of these things, it's like the triggers. When you're stopping drinking alcohol first, I always say to people, look for the big triggers that you're that are triggering your drinking, and seek to avoid those. So a big trigger for me was sitting down in front of the TV after work, being tired, cracking open a few tins of beer. That was a big trigger for me. So when I stopped, sitting in front of that TV was a huge trigger. You know, going to a pub is a massive trigger. There's so many triggers in the pub, so you avoid those things. So you know those things, but there's so many little triggers as well that will go off that you don't know that they're triggers until they actually happen, right? You know, passing a billboard. I'm trying to think of something that happened to me when I was stopping drinking first. Friends, you know, meeting a friend. I was talking to a mate 6 months after I stopped drinking alcohol. I hadn't spoken to him for so long. And that one phone call of him talking to me, one of my drinking buddies, then after 6 months even, that triggered me to having these thoughts of drinking. So you just don't know what's going to trigger. You don't know the smallest things of the change until they happen to you. But it's not how they happen, or it's not what happens, it's how you respond to them. And it's just pushing yourself through and saying to yourself, right, this is just something else that I've got to do, something else that I've got to make happen. So if it's something that you like doing, you know, it's a good thing. Like this, you know, getting out and really trying to acclimatize ourselves, you know, is a great thing for us. The acclimatizing ourselves to the attitude. We were so much out of routine when we were in Spain for the last few months, because we knew we were moving, and because we knew all these changes were going to happen. And, you know, for the first while here, obviously we're outside of routine. We're just, you know, trying to figure out where the kettle is, where the kitchen is, you know, coming out of the front room, and I'm walking out with plates and going in the wrong direction, trying to get to the kitchen, and I'm not really in the kitchen anymore. So that was one of the things that was really pushing me into sort of another direction. So it's just those things that you just don't understand that are going to happen until they happen. They tire you out, all of these things, because you're having to think about the smallest details, right? That's one of the most uncomfortable things. But for me, getting back into routine, coming out here and walking and getting out and doing these videos. I haven't done a video in a while, you know. I've done small videos, you know, short videos, but I haven't done a really good long walking video in a while. So I'm probably rambling in these, but yeah, who cares? Hopefully you got something out of it. Like I said, I'm going to stop it here for today. I have another video to do before I get home for the next day, so we'll do that. So take care of yourself. If you haven't signed up, if you want some help to stop drinking alcohol, like I said, we've got the free course down below. It's the preparation course, and if you want to invest a bit in yourself, we've got the Habits V2 program, and that's down below. Great program, even if I say so myself. So listen, take care of yourself, and I will speak to you again in the next video. All right, onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye now.